Handicapper Steve here, handicapping the racing from Santa Anita Park here on Saturday. It is the 7th of March 2026. Going to look at the stakes races on the program from Santa Anita. But before I get onto that, remember to follow me on X at Horse Racing Kid 5 for more selections for race courses around the world. And I mean it, around the world. Let's look at the stakes action from Santa Anita. Races 4, 8, 9, and the featured 10th race, the Big Cap. The fourth race from Santa Anita, it is the Beholder Mile. It's a grade one event going for a $300,000 purse. Race for fillies and mares, 4-year-olds and upwards. Six horses are going one lap around the Santa Anita main track, which is 1,600 meters in circumference, or a mile in the Beholder Mile. I believe this race was Vanity before that, if I'm not mistaken. My tops are the Milady, something like that. No, it wasn't Milady. It was definitely the Vanity. But as a top selection here, I'm going to go with the three-horse Dazzling Move. I'm going to go 3-5-4-2 in the superfecta. 3-5-4-2 super. Top selection of three-horse Dazzling Move. This five-room mare by Not This Time. Sappy Joseph Jr. trains. Tyler Gaffleone comes in from the East Coast ride. Ran the horse most recently, 24th January at Gulfstream. 7 furlongs in the grade 2 inside information. And the horse finished fifth by 6.5 lengths that day. He just had nothing. Was very, very just dry. Never got into it. It wasn't the day to win. They're changing the tactics. She's getting blinkers on for the first time in nearly a year. She could be forwardly paced going a mile on this track. I think that could do wonders. She's run against some tougher horses on the East Coast, coming here to the West Coast here today. Not as tough. I think she could, with the changes, really get a better trip to win. She ran it off the bench in the Rampart prior to that Gulfstream, 1 mile 26 in December. She finished fifth by 10 lengths. She was with them early on. She drifted late, and she just couldn't keep up late. It wasn't her day to win. Maybe she's just a little bit tired that day. And then the Delaware Handicap at Delaware over the mile eighth in late September, finishing third by 10 lengths that day. The winner ran terrifically. This horse just never was really into it. And again, she drifted, which is a thing with her for a little bit at sometimes this season. Prior to the personal ensign, tougher horses, Torpedo Anna won that day. She just wasn't getting into it. Again, ran a decent race in the Shuby prior to that, and a very good place in the Ogden Phipps on the slot behind Dorth Vader. But she hasn't seen the winner's circle since the Royal Delta of 25 at Gulfstream going mile 16th, where she won by 3.25 lengths that day. And from a tracking trip, she, grinded out to the wire. That was a very good race. Just look at some of the horses she was facing after that. Dorth Vader, decent horse. Leslie Rose, decent horse. Torpedo Anna, very decent horse. These horses today, not as tough. Trainwell Palmettos at 8-1. I'm going to give her a shot on the ticket. I think 5-horse Blessed to Broken for Brad Cox and Florent can win also. One at the fairgrounds, quite impressive on a tracking trip, winning by 2 lengths in early January off the bench. Good run against older horses also for the first time. Prior to that, she was on the Oaks Trail last year. She won the Bourbonnais Oaks. Very good sneaky third last year's Kentucky Oaks, and then okay fourth in the Acorn. But then you didn't see the horse since coming back to January of this year. But she's refreshing here against older horses. I'll give her a shot on the ticket. But Brad Cox horses, I've noticed when they shift to the West Coast at times, they don't really fire at times. So just keep that in mind. They get bet, but don't fire. But to recount my selection for the fourth from Santa Anita, it is the Beholder Mile. Going to go with 3-horse Dazzling Move. Give kudos to the 5-horse Blessed to Broken. 3-5-4-2 super, 3-5 in the multi race. Heading over to race number 8 now from Santa Anita. It is San Felipe Stakes. It's a grade 2 event going for a $200,000 purse race for 3-year-olds here. 7 horses are going 1,700 meters or mile 16th in the San Felipe. With the 3-horse Secured Freedom, I'm going to go 3-4-6-5 in the superfecta. 3-4-6-5 super. Top selection 3-horse Secured Freedom. This 3-year-old colt by Practical Joke, excuse me. Tim Teen trains. Cascade Kimura gets the mount. The horse's most recent outing came 7th of September at Santino, 7th of February, excuse me, I can't speak. 7th of February at Santino, 1 mile on the Bob Lewis. And he finished third by 4 lengths that day. He moved ever so slightly late. He was a little bit wide. He just needed more into it early on. If he's more into it, I think he can get the job done. I think getting an extra half furlong should really find a trip that's going to be in his liking. He ran 2 back in on the 20th of December at Santino, 6.5 in the main special weight, and he won by 4.25 lengths. Second asking that day, he stalked all around the race courses, a little bit wide, but he flew home clear. Fire. I didn't think that was a half bad race for a sophomore effort. In his freshman effort at Del Mar, going 6.5 in the main special weight. He finished fourth by 5.25 lengths that day. The winner's so happy, really ran terrifically from a track and trip. This horse tracked around them, so happy he had the jump on him. But this horse, he got down the race course well, came back to win Quinn Presley after that. And I thought he ran okay in the Bob Lewis. I think, like I said, getting an extra half furlong and getting a better poster. I could be more into it early on. At 8-1, I think he's sitting on a good run. I'm going to use him here. I think the four horse Brand could win also for Bob Baffert and Florent. Won the Del Mar for Surety, broke his main at Del Mar quite easily. He just kind of yielded in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile, where he's going a little bit fast in the front end. If he's another horse, if he could slow it down, he could win. He's a $3 million purchase. He's bred beautifully here. One of the best, bred horses probably in the running in the country today. If he could slow it down, he could win. He's bred for the Derby through and through. If I think you Derby favorite right now, it'd probably be him because he has that great pedigree. But watch out for him here today. Like I said in my Tampa Derby preview video today, today's the day that you're going to have a little bit of a better picture going into the Derby than we did a couple weeks ago, because now the Derby's starting to seem like, okay, this horse is really improving. This horse is really improving. By this time next month, after the Wood Memorial Bluegrass and Santana Derby, and then we'll definitely have a clear picture going into the Derby. But this is where the picture gets a little bit clearer going into the Derby, which is in about 7 weeks' time. Feels like yesterday was last year's Derby. But I like Branson in the spot, and also the six horse. So happy for Mark Glad. He won the San Vicente and he broke his main at Del Mar against a Secure Freedom quite nicely. He's another horse that goes up a lot with the two turns here. I'm going to give him a shot on the ticket, but I do prefer the other two. Those other two right for the trip through and through. Very, very beautifully. But Tricam, I select for the eighth from Santana. It is San Felipe. Gonna take 3 horse Secured Freedom. Give kudos to the 4 horse Brandon, the 6 horse. So happy. 3-4-6-5 Super, 3-4-6 in the multi race. The ninth race from Santa Anita. It is the Frank E. Kilroe Mile. It's a grade 2 event going for a $200,000 purse race for 4-year-olds and upwards. 8 horses are going 1,600 meters or a mile in the Kilroe. The race usually was a grade 1 up until this year. They downgraded to a grade 2 this year, and they took $100,000 off the purse also after that the grade deduction. But my top selection here, I'm going to go with the number 4 horse, who is Gas Me Up. I'm going to go 4-2-3-1 in the superfecta. 4-2-3-1 super. Top selection of 4 horse Gas Me Up. The 6-year-old gelding by Hartspun. Peter Urton trains. Marco DeMero gets the mount. Ran the horse most recently 7th February here at Santino, a mile in the grade 3 Thunder Road, and he finished second by 3 3/4 lengths that day. And he was very, very rambunctious early on. He almost went down. He was off heels early on. He moved a little bit late. El Palante just really ran terrifically to get the job done. But this horse, he ran a good race in the feed. He ran prior to them the Joe Hernandez down the hillside turf course going 6.5, winning by 1/4 lengths that day. He sat back early, was stupidly wide, but he flew home clear. That was a very, very good race with 100 career best buyer. And the Breeders' Cup Mile prior to that, finished 7 by 4 1/4 lengths that day. He was a little bit wide. He was very wide that day, but he gained a lot of ground. And, 59-1 finishing second, seventh. I didn't think it was a half bad race. His races prior to that, Woodbine weren't bad at all. He placed in the Woodbine Mile, won the King Edward, the local prep race for the Woodbine Mile, and had some very nice wins on the E.P. Taylor turf course. Since leaving the Urton Barn in the autumn of 22 and going up north to Canada in 2024, he had some good races with some decent buyers. Back to the Urton Barn, where he has run half bad, run a career best 2 back, coming here at 7-2, getting a very good turf rider up. I think he can run a good race here. I think the 2 horse Almendares for Phil D'Amato and Tyler Gaffalione can win also. Ran in the Pegasus World Cup Turf a few weeks ago, where he had a very good third by 1 1/4 lengths at 37-1. It was very wide, but he was really closing up like an express train. Prior to the Seabiscuit at Del Mar over the mile 16th, he finished 5th by 3/4 length. Again, really getting a decent trip. It was an all-out finish that day. His races on the circuit haven't been half bad. He ran this race last year where he was a little bit wide, just a little lackadaisical. But other than that, he always runs these good runs. It's still winless on this turf course, but I think that's going to change here today. At 9-2, I'll give him a massive shot on the ticket. Out of all the stakes races, it's probably one of my favorite ones on the card because it could go a few ways. But to recount my selection for the ninth from Santana now, it is the Frank E. Kilroe Mile. I'm going to go with the 4 horse Gas Me Up. Give kudos to the 2 horse Almendares. 4-2-3-1 Super. 4-2 in the multi race. For the 10th race now. Featured 10th race from Santa Anita. It is the Santa Anita Handicap. It's a grade one event going for a $300,000 purse race for 4-year-olds and upwards. We have a field of seven horses entered, or excuse me, seven horses originally entered. We'll be down to a field of six horses now, going the distance of ground 2,000 meters or a mile and a quarter in the big cap. Take out the five horse Skippy Longstocking, who is withdrawn. And the top selection of this year's big cap, I'm going to go with the number six horse, British Isles. I'm going to go 6-7-3-2 in the superfecta. 6-7-3-2 super. Top selection six horse British Isles is Fibro Gilling by Justify here. Richard Baltus trains one, gets Diego Herrera, gets the mount. The horse's most recent outing came the 24th of January at Gulfstream, mile and eighth in the Pegasus World Cup, and he finished fifth by 9.5 lengths that day. He's early, he was a little bit wide, but he had a mild turn of foot. I didn't think it was a half bad race. He's mainly, beating some faders that day, but he got down the race course well. When he runs on dirt, he runs these sneaky good races. He's bred for this mile and a quarter trip through and through, should grind it out to the wire, and I think he can improve and get the job done here today. It's not a grade one quality group of horses here, and I think that's good for him because I think he goes up a lot. And he's also run these good buyer numbers that can keep up with these horses. A 95 buyer in defeat came two back in the native diver at Del Mar, mile and eighth, 22nd November, where he finished second by half length. He stalked, he got the lead. Nevada Beach just grinded it out to the wire to beat him late, but he got down the race course okay. And then his most recent race at turf at Santino, mile and eighth and optional 80, winning by a head from a tracking trip. He vied on lead. He grinded out to the wire late, and he got the job done. A very good race. Prior to that, he was running, all over the country. He started off his campaign at Keeneland last year, where he won going a mile and a half on the turf course. Came back to run Churchill in early June over the mile 3/8, where he finished eighth by 4 3/4 lengths, weakening out of it. He came back to run a very good place at Del Mar in early August in the Lowndes race, and came back to run at Kentucky Downs, where he just wasn't handling the quirkiness at the of the course there. But he's coming back to dirt, where he's run these sneaky good races. I'm going to give him a shot on the ticket. He's bred for the mile court trip through and through. I think seven horse Westwood for Peter Erden and Kimura can win also. He ran the San Pasquale a few weeks ago over the mile and eighth, where he won by 2 3/4 lengths in the front end. He basically won in a trot, a very good race back to stakes quality horses in victory. He ran in the native diver prior to that, where he finished third by 3 3/4 lengths, where he set some good fractions up front, but then he just kind of yielded late. And then, he ran down Vodka in the in the allowance race at Del Mar on Breeders' Cup weekend, where he just kind of yielded, never really get into the front end. If they let him go on the front end and slow it down, it wouldn't surprise me if he steals it. He's training well since coming to the new barn from John Sheriff to Peter Erden. I'm going to give him a shot here at 7-2 on the ticket. And the three horse, Just a Touch, he's coming in from the West Coast. He runs these good races over the mile 16th. A mile and a quarter might be a big question for him. But he has those buyer numbers that have been very nicely done on the East Coast coming here. But like I said, Brad Cox horses, when they come to the West Coast, they get very overbet at times, and they just don't fire at times also. But I do prefer the other two before him. But on paper, he can win. But I do have some distance questions with him. Getting the mile and a quarter. But it's going to be a good big cap this year. Is it a great race? No, but it's going to be a good one. But to recap my selection for the 10th from Santino, it's Santino Handicap. Going to take the six horse British Isles. Good as the seven horse Westwood and the three horse Just a Touch. War race 6-7-3-2 super 6-7-3 in the multi race. So good luck to all, and please follow me on X at Horse Racing Kid 5. Good luck, everybody.